Well, if I had the Jeopardy theme, I could play that, but. Our next guest for day one of Sinister Halloween Con is a true horror icon. Not only has he starred in classic horror films like Re-Animator and From Beyond, but he's also had a remarkable career in television, doing voiceover work, and appearing on stage. From exploring the universe in several Star Trek series to bedeviling Batman, to channeling Edgar Allan Poe in a one-man stage production, to our humble stage, let's welcome the incomparable Jeffrey Combs. What's your name? I'm Charlie Williams.
Hi, Charlie.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, man.
Glad to have you here today.
Good to be in the capital of California.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I was disappointed.
Born and raised. Not in Sacramento, California.
That leads me to my first question, actually. You were born in Oxnard, California.
Yeah, I don't remember anything about it, but yes.
To a large family. How many people are in your family?
Well, you know, at the time, they didn't call it a blended family, but that's what it was. You have to kind of go back to pre-war. Both my parents were born in the early 20s. My mom got married, I found out many years later, she got pregnant when she was a senior in high school.
Oh, wow.
And married this guy, and they had 2 kids in pretty quick succession. You know, life must propagate itself, I guess.
Sure.
They were young, it was dark. But he turned out to be kind of a roustabout wildcat guy and irresponsible, and so, you know, that fell apart. And my dad was married and had a daughter, and then World War II came along. And when he came back from World War II, he was in the Navy, and, you know, so, you know, I'm pretty sure my dad enjoyed liberty in about every port in the world. But he came back and found out his wife had not been true to him, and so, you know, that's just not done, you know. It's like, really, dude? You know? So then my parents met.
Yeah.
And so we already had 3 kids, but, you know, there, and then they proceeded to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kids.
Oh, wow.
6 kids, 7 kids. 2 of them didn't survive.
Oh, gosh.
One was stillborn and one lived to about 6 months, my younger brother. I was in fifth grade.
Yeah. How did that fact impact your early interest in becoming an actor? Because I've read that you wanted to be an actor from a very early age.
I wouldn't say that I knew that I wanted to be an actor. I would say that I was deeply fascinated by television and movies and the make-believe process of it. But the formative, like I want to be this profession, unformed completely.
Do you remember the first movie or television series or even actor that caught your attention and generated that interest?
Well, there's too many of them, but I do remember when I was a kid, little guy, Zorro.
Oh, yeah.
Zorro.
Same here. Absolutely.
Zorro, man. Disney had this TV series, and Guy Williams, and you know, and you're running around with a mask on, and I hesitate to tell this story, but my older sister was babysitting me, and she said, "You killed my cat."
Oh.
I was like, "What?" I was like 3, 4. I don't. What? I guess I was playing Zorro, and I thought the cat was the bad guy or something. But I have no. Me and cats. What the fuck?
You were.
I feel very bad about that.
Really.
I mean,
You were a method actor.
I believe.
Very
Acting is
early.
believing, okay?
Yeah.
So I was a committed actor, I
There you were.
suppose.
That was your method.
So the first thing I did artistically was I like to draw. And when I did draw, I drew, interestingly, I kind of came to it later, I drew faces. Not faces of people I knew, but just characters, people. I would just keep going until it was found it interesting.
Yeah.
So maybe I was always interested in human behavior.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to.
Yeah.
I always loved to, if families came over and visited and they had kids, I would hide in a corner in the living room and listen to the stories
Oh, wow.
of the adults.
So really an observer.
I didn't really care to
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
do that stuff.
You attended the Pacific Conservatory of Performing Arts
Santa Maria,
and the University of Washington.
yes, I transferred to, the PCPA was a magical place. I wouldn't be here at all without PCPA in Santa Maria. It's a small college, but the man who ran the drama department was entrepreneurial, a visionary, and a lover of theater, and I came along at exactly the right time to benefit from his vision. He built 2 theaters, and we had just a rainbow of genres, from Shakespeare to Brecht to Moliere to musicals. It was really a hotbed.
Do you think that training is
Absolutely.
important to an actor?
Absolutely.
Because, you hear both schools of thought. Some people say, well, no, you really don't need the training, but you're of the belief that you do.
Well, there's different kinds of training. I would say I didn't have so much classes. I had rehearsing a play in the morning, rehearsing a different play in the afternoon, and performing another play at night.
Wow.
And then when they were all 3 ready, you were just doing 3 different shows, one right every night, something different. This is like, a forge of tempering, and also a lot of older, more experienced actors, so that I could sit back and go, okay, that's what you do. That's the kind of commitment you have to have. That's interesting. I had really great examples, pace setters, I call them. And then I kind of realized I needed to kind of have some training. And so I auditioned for a number of training programs, and I got into University of Washington in Seattle. And that was tearing it all down: acting classes, movement classes, voice classes, combat, saber, sword play, dance.
Not with cats, though, right?
Not with cats.
Okay. Then you moved into local theater. Did you do a lot of local
I
theater
didn't
productions?
I wouldn't say local theater. Right out of University of Washington, I got into what we call regional theater.
Oh, regional.
So I went down, I got accepted to go and be the company in the Old Globe in San Diego. So I've worked at the Old Globe, I worked at Arizona Theater Company, I worked at South Coast Rep, Mark Tabor Forum. I kind of got on this circuit of doing a lot of plays.
How did you make that transition to film?
Transition, this is kind of what I did since I was 18, so the transition was like I'm still doing theater. The big transition was I was down at the Globe, I think my 2nd season, and it's on my birthday. And I came out after the show, and a woman was standing there, and she said, I'm an agent, and I have an office in New York and one in LA. I'd like to represent you. Which place do you want to go?
Wow.
That does not happen.
No, it doesn't.
That doesn't happen. You usually have to go to LA and kind of.
Go through some hard times before you
Well,
get to that point.
I still went through hard times because there's the transition from doing theater to film is a real adjustment.
That's what points me to my next question, what is the most important thing you learned about film acting?
It's a really good question, because I think for me, I never jettisoned my theater work. I never said, that's valueless and this has value. I perhaps held on, and it's a blend.
Sure.
In a way, perhaps, maybe that might be called overacting, but I don't think so. I think there's a kind of happy medium there. You can be bigger and that's a better choice than like doing nothing.
Right.
Although sometimes doing nothing is absolutely the best thing
The best
to
thing
do.
to do.
So that was the, okay, I had an agent, I sound really lucky. 3 years later, she dropped me.
But you had some credits, right?
I had a few
during
credits,
that time.
and here's the thing. I mean, this is unbelievable. When I was doing a play at South Coast Rep just to keep my chops going, even though I lived in L.A., and I was opening night of Playboy of the Western World. Oh, it's a great Irish play. There's nothing to do with a Playboy. Doesn't mean that. A Playboy in those days was a rover, a guy on the road was a Playboy.
Yeah.
Western World was not, the New World. Western World was Western Ireland. So Playboy, a rover of,
Western Ireland.
Western Ireland. And opening night, stage manager came to me and he got a letter, and it was from my agent, a really beautiful, lovely parchment paper. And I thought, oh, they're wishing me a happy opening. This is a difficult letter to write, but, we're dropping you.
Oh, gosh.
Places, everybody. So that's okay, because we won 9 LA Drama Critics Award for that production, and so I kind of didn't have a problem
I don't
getting another agent.
Yeah, I don't think you've had a problem at all in terms of finding work, because you have almost.
Oh, you're wrong. I
Well-
mean, there've been. I remember a 2-year stretch. I had a daughter and nothing.
Okay. You have poorly formed question. You have over 150 acting credits.
What?
That's pretty amazing for anybody.
It's
But
amazing to me to hear.
But the one that stands out, of course, is Stuart Gordon's Re-Animator from 1985. Did you ever imagine that we'd be talking about that film almost 40 years later?
Not only no, but definitely no. I have no barometer of what's good or bad, especially with film, because I had done a few things on film, day stuff, like just one scene or something. So Re-Animator came along, and interestingly enough, at the same time they offered me Re-Animator, I was offered to play Romeo
Oh, gosh.
in Romeo and Juliet at a theater in LA. So it's just this, but I
That would
figured,
have been interesting.
but I figured, listen, I'm here to do film. That's why I'm in LA, not to do theater. Theater in LA is a means to get seen to do film. So 3 weeks on a set sounded like a pretty good education for me.
Yeah.
I did not think that, and you have to remember, there's the movie you write, there's the movie you shoot, and there's the movie you cut. And the original script, the focus was not so much on Herbert West. He's a strong character, but if you look at the credits, it's the lovers. They had a lot more scenes together. It was their plight. It was, what are they going to do? All of this affecting them. And once they got into the editing room, they had to hone the movie down and find its thrust.
Yeah. Well, I think you definitely provided the thrust.
That's what she said. Okay.
I rewatched the
Bad joke.
movie. I rewatched it in preparation for
I was
our
young.
panel
I was
today.
young.
You were very young.
I was
But
31,
you
actually.
You're one of those actors, though, that jumped off the screen. I mean, you really, as a viewer, I took notice of you right away. I mean, you've got that kind of charisma.
Tasty role, man.
Yeah.
Really tasty stuff.
Well, I thought it held up, extremely well.
Kind of does.
And what was your production schedule like? I mean, was that a short production schedule? Was it
Oh, baby.
Spread
It
out.
was 18 days.
18 days? That's amazing.
Here's a key thing about it, though. We had 2 weeks of rehearsal.
Okay.
Films don't rehearse.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to pay you to rehearse. When you do a theater, you're paid 4 weeks of rehearsal, and you're paid the same amount of money for 4 weeks of performance.
Yeah.
Okay? Because they realize the value of the preparation.
Yeah, it's extremely unusual for a low-budget movie.
But film, fuck no. And especially a low budget.
Right.
But Stuart Gordon, being from the theater, just charmed us, and we saw the value of preparation because we'd all kind of done theater. So we just got together on our own. And so there was no getting on the set and going, now what are we going to do? It was, oh, we're doing that? Good. Kind of like a band that
Really
rehearsed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we were good. So the 18 days wasn't so daunting as it first sounds.
Well,
But
it's interesting that you bring up that about the rehearsal, because I had read that the cast and crew toured an insane asylum and morgue to prepare for it.
I don't know about the insane asylum, but the morgue, definitely.
Wow.
Stuart sent Bruce and I. He said, I have an appointment for you guys. Go down to the LA morgue tomorrow. What? Yeah. And I tell you what, that was invaluable. I was kind of like, oh man, I don't want to. But what we really realized is you walk into a room with dead bodies stacked up, shelves, and you realize what a miracle it is that you bring something like that back, because it's inert and there's no life force in that room. So in order to make that blink and breathe, it's an impossibility.
So how did that impact your performance? Then it'd just give you that.
When I'm trying to convince him and we can defeat death, we're both training to be doctors. And
Right.
this is unheard of. This is a miracle.
Yeah.
That's impossible. So it just really elevates what's
Gave it a little extra layer. to
and the
performance.
miraculousness of it, the wonder of that, the impossibility that you could do that. Except me, Herbert could do that.
Well, talking about reanimating, what was in that green reanimating solution that was in the syringe?
It's called luminol. It's fairly well known. It's what they use at crime scenes when people have cleaned up blood, and you can run a black light, spray luminol, run a black light. We've all seen CSI, haven't we?
Sure.
Oh, look at that blood stain smeared. So it is derived from phosphorescent algae in the ocean. That stuff that sparkles,
Yeah.
they can take it. It's actually just like kids' joysticks. It's two chemical substances, and you break it,
Right.
and it glows like that for a period of time. And they told me, don't get this stuff on your fingers and don't your mouth. It's toxic. Hi, kids. Put these around your neck.
I've seen your image as Herbert West, just on countless types of horror novelties.
Me too.
I have this area rug that has all the horror icons on it. It has Michael Myers, it has
What?
Freddy, it has Pinhead, it has Anthony Perkins from Psycho, and there prominently featured is Herbert West.
I know.
But my question is, do you share in any of those profits for your image? Because, hey, it's all over the place.
And the answer is no.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, there are, for instance, Brian Usna owns these the rights to images of Re-Animator.
Yeah.
And he has hired a company that basically goes around and investigates different conventions and people that manufacture this stuff to say, hey, by the way, you know, cease and desist or share your wealth.
Yeah.
But it's so legion, it's so all-pervasive. It's like...
And it may have been at a time when that was not as much of an issue,
Exactly.
or you can't foresee the future.
So you got to surrender to that, and you know what? People bring things to me to sign
Yeah.
with that image on it, and so I do get paid, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
I
like-
understand,
Also, it becomes part of the zeitgeist, and it's
Yeah.
really not even about me.
Exactly.
Like, am I going to sue somebody because they have a tattoo of me on their body? I don't think so.
I'd like to get your reaction to the names of some people that were involved in the film. I'd like you to tell us, you don't have to go into a lot of detail, but if you want to tell a story about a certain person or something, of course, we'd welcome it.
I love this, like therapy.
But, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was a teacher for a long time, so I had to be a part psychologist, too. What comes to mind with each one of these names? Like Stuart Gordon. Let's start with Stuart.
Powerhouse guy, sweet as a bear. I mean, sweet as a teddy bear. He could be so sweet and kind and generous, a true family man, devoted to his family. Laughter. We laughed a lot. He loved a good joke or a bad one, and we would abuse that a lot. But also sometimes infuriating because he was very willful. Yeah, he wanted what he wanted, and sometimes as an actor you go, wait, what? You want me to what?
Yeah.
But you get through those things,
Sure.
almost like a family member,
Sure,
brother.
sure.
You have your disagreements, but all is forgotten. I love the man deeply.
Next name, Barbara Crampton.
Barbara Crampton, brave.
Yes, definitely.
She would do what others would not. There was someone else cast in that role until their mother read the script and went, no. Positive and sweet.
The great David Gale.
What a lovely man, soft-spoken, not much, not very complicated, but a very good trooper of an actor.
Sure.
He knew exactly what to do, how to do it. I got the job, my callback was reading the basement scene with David Gale.
Oh, okay.
So we both got cast
Yeah.
out of that. And heartbreaking, how he passed away is just like, do you know the story?
No, I don't, actually.
Well, David Gale was, some years after Re-Animator, he's a theater actor, and he came out to LA soon before Re-Animator. So, you know, he was trying to get film work instead of like banging around in New York. And so he had reverted back to doing theater, and he was an understudy, actually, of a production of some play. I think it was at the Geffen Theater. And the lead actor, who I also knew, I think his name was John Anderson, an old character actor, looks very
I
much like
remember
David.
him well, yeah. A
Nice.
lot of Western.
Yeah,
a lot of Westerns.
played Twilight Zones and
Yes.
played Abe Lincoln, you know, he's
Yeah.
a good character actor. And I did a play with him. And anyway, he got a gig out of town, a movie gig. And so his understudy took over, and that was David. And he had a massive heart attack on stage.
Oh, my gosh.
And they took him to UCLA nearby, and his heart was completely obliterated in many ways, but they gave him a heart transplant. And the day that he was to be released from the hospital, they found him collapsed in his room.
Oh, what a shame. What a shame, and what a talent.
And not a happy ending.
No.
every time I come to one of these things, I think, oh, David,
Yeah, he would have enjoyed it.
my God, he would have been just regaled
Loved
and
it.
loved
Yeah. Oh.
by fans,
Of
and
course.
he would have been just fine.
Yeah, he would have loved it.
He would have loved it, and everybody would have loved him. And so it's just a heartbreaking.
Yeah, that is heartbreaking. How about Bruce Abbott?
Bruce Abbott, I didn't know Bruce when we were paired up, in essence, in Re-Animator, but we had a lot of friends in common because we were both West Coast actors. And so there was an immediate bonding glue there and a comfort zone, definitely. He's one of the most generous and egoless and yet strong man. And I couldn't have done what I did without him.
No, I was going to say you guys have great chemistry.
He is the
on
unsung
screen.
hero of Re-Animator. Everybody, it's like, again, like a band.
Right.
Okay, I'm like, I'm like Jimmy Page, okay? But I need a rhythm guitarist.
Sure, of course.
And he was right there and just supporting me, and I tried to support him. It's just like music.
Sure.
It made it so good.
That's
He-
really
so
cool.
if you really want to watch him. Don't watch me, watch him. He's perfect.
Yeah, he's good in a quieter way. I mean,
And you care,
subtle way, but
you
he's
care
very,
about the
very
guy.
good,
When they
yeah.
have that close-up of him and he goes, my scholarship? He goes, and I'm rescinding your scholarship. Close-up, my scholarship? Don't take this out on Meg. I mean,
Yeah,
that's great. It's great stuff.
Okay, I'm going to open it up for questions. So,
He's my dear friend to this day. by the way,
that's
so.
fantastic. Do we have somebody that has a microphone? Is there anybody left? Okay, there's Abs. Abby, my
Hi, Abby.
dear helper here, is going to help me with questions.
go with
So,
you first.
Abby,
Hi, Jeffrey.
Hi.
So I had a question about the Masters of Horror Black Cat episode.
Love it.
Yeah, because I was really impressed with that. And I'm a huge Masters of Horror fan, but I really liked how you played Edgar Allan Poe. What was your preparation for playing that role?
Wow. Thank you. Well, it was a gift. It kind of started maybe 4 or 5 years earlier when I said to Stuart, I just read an autobiography of Edgar Allan Poe. Why hasn't anybody made a movie of this man's life? You've got Van Gogh, Lust for Life, his tragic figure. Poe is America's Van Gogh. And so why hasn't anybody done this? And Stuart took that in, and I swear a year later, he sent me, he emailed me, and he said, there's a script attached here, Masters of Horror, and they greenlit it, and I'd like for you to play Poe.
and that led
What?
to the stage performance. right?
Well, yeah, we were shooting this beautiful, that's the last time I ever worked on film. It's gorgeous, Black Cat is. And that was one of the lures for Masters of Horror to do those things, because you get to use film, so
Yeah.
those days are gone. And so Stuart was sitting there and he goes, I just kind of feel like I'm in the presence of Poe. You ought to do a one-man show. I went, get the fuck out of here. I'm not, what? That's a lot of work, man. I don't want to do that. Because it is. But he persisted in a gentle sort of Yoda kind of Zen way, I swear to God. And kept persisting with this for about 1.5 years, and I went, well, what would that be? And from that moment on, we had a spine of a story, and we had Dennis Paoli, who's a Gothic literature professor at Hunter College, doing research. So, all the pieces just fell into place. And so I opened this, and it was also at a time when, remember the 2008, 2009 economic fucking downfall, I felt so hopeless and powerless and nowhere to go. And doing this gave us both a purpose and a purchase and some authority. We could control this. And it just exploded from a 4-week run into like, well, years. Traveled all the way around the country with it, until COVID.
And terrific reviews, by the way.
What I did learn about a one-man show is it's extremely lonely. I didn't see that coming. You do a play and you go backstage and you go, hey, I thought that scene was pretty good. Yeah, me too. Maybe we could work that, yes. And then the next day you'd say, well, let's go have a beer. And I'll go, yeah, okay. You do a one-man show. It's kind of like, that was a good show.
I wish we had more time to talk. Jeffrey, you've just been a fantastic guest. And
Nice questions. I wish I could answer more of your questions.
well, here's my suggestion. Go by Jeffrey's table. I'm sure he'd be glad to answer any questions that you have.
I will.
You have that personal interaction with Jeffrey, and he's got some merchandise there that would be nice to look at as well.
This is a lovely con. I'm glad to come back. I was here like 10 years ago. It's really lovely, and you guys have all been so warm and welcoming. And,
well, it's our honor to have you.
Thank you very much.
Tell by the reaction of the people that are here. Let's give Jeffrey a warm round of applause.
Thank you. 150, really?